Okay, thank you everybody for waiting. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for standing by and welcome to the MBDA Virtual Substance Sandwich webinar. My name is Gabriela Zambrano and I'm the director of the Houston MBDA Business Center. This is our 7th year of offering substance sandwiches and our 7th year with Manhattan and our first virtual subs for 2021. During today's webinars, attendees will be in listen-only mode. There will be a Q&A session at the end of today's call. My colleague, Mark Prague, is going to monitor the Q&As. If you have any questions during the presentation, you may submit it online by entering it in the Q&A panel. As a reminder, this presentation is being recorded and the presentation will be available via email with the participants. Now, I'd like to introduce my colleagues, Mark Prague and Deidre Sutton, business advisors, and our office manager, Jessica Vasquez. Today, we have the pleasure to meet with Manhattan. This is how the event will go. Manhattan will introduce themselves and then make a presentation. Then we'll break into questions and answer, and we'll have a hard stop at 12:30. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jason Fuller, Vice President, Houston for Manhattan Construction Company. Jason?
Well, thanks, Gabriela, and really appreciate you and Mark and everything that the MBDA does for Manhattan. We're very proud to be the first this year. Unfortunately, we were first last year, and we were able to have everyone in our office and see everyone face to face. So we obviously missed that. And we're looking forward to next year, and knock on wood, we've got everybody back over here at 2120 Montrose. So we can go ahead and go to the agenda, and then I'll go around the horn a bit and introduce our folks. So again, I'm Jason Fuller. I'm the Vice President and Regional Manager here for Manhattan. And then we can just, if my team would introduce themselves, and just kind of go around the horn here, and we may trip over ourselves here with going in order, but how about Lael? Why don't you start?
Hello, I'm Lael, Director of Community Relations and Inclusion. So great to be here with you.
Raylina?
Yep, good afternoon, Raylina Browning. I lead our pre-construction efforts here in Houston. Excited to be here as always.
Drew?
My name is Andrew Halpin. I'm a pre-construction manager with Manhattan here in Houston.
James?
Afternoon, everyone. I'm James Matthews. I'm a project director here in Houston. Been with the company roughly 20 years.
Melissa? Melissa, you're on mute.
Sorry about that. I'm Melissa Boyd. I'm the contract administrator for Manhattan office. I handle all pre-qualification and send out all contracts.
And Joe?
Good afternoon. My name is Joe Hernandez, and I'm an estimator.
I think that's our entire team that I see on. So I'm going to talk very briefly about the company for those of you that may not be familiar with Manhattan. Then I'm going to turn it over to the team. We're going to go through our our process for seeing our opportunities for bidding on our work. Melissa is going to go through our pre-qualification process. And then Raylina and the team are going to talk about current projects and things we have coming up to bid. So just briefly talk about a little history and background of Manhattan. So we are a family company, construction manager, general contractor, do projects of all size. We were actually founded 125 years ago in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We're in the same founding family. The 5th generation of the family that started the company 125 years ago is still running the company. And we've been in Houston, we're very proud to say, since 1942. One of the photos that's on the page there is the what is now the Juvenile Justice Center downtown. That was a of a Manhattan project, right? So very proud of our legacy here in Houston, very proud of the work that we've done in the community and the work that we've done here. So go ahead, Gabriella. And just, we've got a very wide range of market segments that we are in here in Houston. Obviously, we've got a huge market, and we try to stay as spread out into each one of these markets as we can. A lot of education work, higher ed and K through 12. That's a project for University of Houston downtown that we did a number of years ago. Aviation projects, obviously we're very proud of the new Terminal C North that we opened a number of years ago. We've still got several projects going on at Bush Intercontinental right now. Corporate commercial, when that is a viable market, obviously economic changes kind of dictate that market, but that is a segment that we do. We do office buildings, we do office towers. The picture is a project for BBVA that we did in the Galleria a number of years ago. Healthcare, obviously being in Houston, there's been a core market for us ever since we established the office in the 40s. Sports, we've done quite a few of the pro and collegiate stadiums here in Houston. And then really the backbone of the business is government, public work, work for Harris County, City of Houston, and local municipalities. So that's kind of the overview of Manhattan, what we do in Houston. For those of you that are in multiple markets, obviously we're based out of Oklahoma. We have offices in Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Dallas, Atlanta, operation in Florida, and also Washington, D.C. So if you have any other offices there, feel free to reach out to us and we can connect you with our groups in those regions as well. So with that, I think that's my spiel, and I'll turn it over to the smart people and let them go through some of the details. But again, thank you for joining us. It's great to have y'all, and hope we can see y'all soon.
Thank you, Jason. I think now it's Leo.
Me,
Is that correct?
yeah. So, hello. I love this slide that I stole from a different presentation, but it has our percent versus our actual goals. And as you can see, we always strive to, of course, meet the goal, but oftentimes we exceed the goal. And that's a really big deal. And I know that now working so closely with this pre-con team, we have, I feel like I have more of a direct impact in how I'm able to help you because they are teaching me how to use these systems. So I can go into Building Connected and add you to whatever it is that you want to bid on that is very dangerous. But if you tell me you want to see it, then I'm going to put you on there. So make sure you are actually where you need to be. But it's very exciting, and I love the commitment of this team. As you can see, and even this presentation, there is a vice president on here who is caring about what is happening. There is a director and a project director, and then several other directors and managers and all that. So it's not just one or two people that have jumped on to give you this presentation. It is a whole team of people who have decided to jump in here and work to see that you have success. And you can't be successful if you don't know about the bid, because you got to get in it and be in it to win it. So that's what we're here for you to be in it to win it, so we can be in it to win it. And so I'm gonna be quiet with that, but thank you guys for coming, and we're gonna move on to the next person. Thank you.
Thank you, Leo. And I think now it's Raylene. Is that correct?
Yes, thank you, Gabriella. So we are so excited to be here today. I wish we could be in person. We really enjoy this every year, getting to network and socialize. So we look forward in the future to being able to do that again. But on this day, which is so historic, right, for many number of reasons, but to have a vice president that's a woman and a person of color, right, I would be remiss in not mentioning that today. I've had chills all morning, right, listening to some of the things. So I want to know that I feel very deeply about, I'm honored to be in a position in construction. We get to really build, right, the communities that we live in and that we're in. And I know in Houston, we're such a diverse community, right? One of arguably the most diverse in the US. So at Manhattan, we really strive to maximize our diversity spend, help small businesses, help minority firms, women-owned firms. We want you to be a part of what we're doing, and we take that responsibility extremely seriously. So I just wanted you to know from me, my commitment and my whole team, you know, you'll hear from all of us today, but we all feel the same. So just wanted to start with that, jumping into a little bit of the details. So when you bid with us, and Melissa's going to talk in a minute about pre-qualification, which is the first step, and it's really important to make sure you get signed up with us and on our bidders list so you get the opportunities and the invitations. But really, we have two different delivery methods for the most part that we work in. That is lump sum bidding, so where we're competing ourselves, right? And then CM at risk, where we compete early on, maybe based on GC and fees, and then we're awarded the job so that when we bid it, we're not competing, right? And we kind of, those are a little bit different in process when we bid. So for our lump sum projects, because we're bidding against competitors, we don't have as much time to get to know the job and things like that. But we do reach out to all the subcontractors who are on our bid list. We definitely want to make sure that we're given all the opportunities. A lot of our, even when we lump sum bid, a lot of our owners also very much value having diverse subs on their projects. And whether or not that is a goal that's set, we always strive for that. So on a lump sum process, you'll get invites from us from Building Connected. It's a super easy to use platform. And then on CM at risk, we do it a little bit different. We have bid packages, which will have a separate subcontract in there, all of our insurance requirements, our safety requirements, all of basically that front end stuff that you need to know when working with Manhattan. And then we'll take it a step further and kind of walk you through some of the scope so that you understand specifically from a scope perspective what we would like you to include in your bid, right? We want to communicate those details as much as we can to make it as easy as we can to put together a bid from your perspective. And the last thing that I want to mention is I know it's super important to get feedback. So when we go after and we pursue, you know, a lot of projects as well, right? And we are very fortunate to win some, and that's fantastic. But when we don't, we really like to hear feedback from our clients, right? So that we can know, especially from a cost perspective, you know, where we landed and what we can do next time, right? Or whatever to be successful and to end up being the winner. So we're happy to provide that feedback to you, myself or any member of our team. So don't hesitate to really reach out and say, hey, I did this, but I didn't get this one. Can you help me understand maybe what I could do differently? And we're happy to provide that feedback to you. So I'm going to pass it on to Melissa to talk about pre-qual.
Okay. Hi. So once you've received a bid invite, or even if you haven't and you just want to work with Manhattan, you haven't bid anything yet, you can reach out to me. My email, I believe, is listed on this slide. It's mboyd@manhattanconstruction.com. There's just a few steps to getting started with Manhattan to be able to bid with us. We will typically have you send us a current W-9 to start with. We need one that's dated and signed within the last 90 days. Now I'm kind of asking for them to be signed within this year. Once I receive that, then I can send you depending on whether you're a subcontractor or a vendor. If you're a subcontractor, then I would be sending you our what we call our Manhattan General Provisions document. It is the boilerplate of our contract. It's signed by each sub once and kept on file. And then as you bid and you're successful and we issue subcontracts, those contracts reference that document. So, you know, that gets you started. We'll add you to the bid list and Building Connected for you to receive bids for projects that your scope, you know, is included in. We also will have you, I'll send you an invitation to fill out subcontractor pre-qualification. We use a program called TradeTap. So it's all online. You'll get an invite. It'll give you a link to get into the program, and you can fill everything out online and upload all your documents there. They'll ask you for some history on the type of projects that you are currently working on, some that you've worked on, your financials, your insurance, things of that nature that our risk management department will take a look at. The other thing that we will ask for is safety documentation. So we're going to ask you for your EMR, your workers' comp experience modifier rate for the past 3 years. If it's above a 0.80, we may ask you for some additional documentation, such as your OSHA logs, your workers' comp loss runs, things of that nature. We are very, very strict on, our safety policies on the job site. We like to make sure everybody gets home safely. So we try to take a look at that up front, and pretty much that's it. We'll look at insurance. The MGP or General Provisions document, the last 5 pages of it gives our insurance requirements. We also will send out those requirements in an Exhibit C of each subcontract that's more specific to the project. But so we have specific limits and coverages that we require that you would need to take a look at and make sure that you adhere to. But that's pretty much it. You just send me an email, send me a brief synopsis of what you do, so that I know, whether it's subcontractor or vendor, and a W-9, and then we can get started and get you set up to receive bids on each project. That pretty much is just a synopsis of what I just went over. So that pretty much concludes my part of it.
Yeah, so here in pre-construction, one of our exciting projects that's coming up is Humble ISD High School Package 2. That one bids on February 11th. And a little bit about this project, it's a renovation to the existing high school, which has, they're going to get like a new gym, remodeling locker rooms, front entry area, cafeterias, classrooms, offices, and the library over there. And we're going to be bidding out to all kinds of packages, with the exception to concrete, steel, earthwork, utilities, and MEP, as that's going to be already bid. And so we're going to be using a system called Building Connected, where we're going to be submitting all our proposals to. And so if you need access to plans, specs, or want to send in questions, please feel free to send it to my contact info, and also through Building Connected, and then I'll be happy to help you guys out on that one. But I'll be the main point of contact for stuff like that. So if you please contact me there, and then I'll send you all my info, and then we can move on with that project, and hopefully we can become successful on that one.
Yeah, mute, Gary.
That we have out for bid right now is the Texas A&M South Campus Rec facility. It's a pretty cool project on A&M's campus. If you're familiar with the campus, it's over by the Southside dorms, right next to the golf course. The bids on that project are due February 16th. So if you haven't looked at the project yet, you definitely have plenty of time to look at it before the bids are due. Right now, we're taking the balance of trades on the project. Concrete, steel, earthwork, utilities have already bid. And actually, the slide is incorrect. MEP has not bid. So anything to do with interiors and exteriors and MEP on this project is currently out on the street, and we are looking for proposals on it. If you have any questions about the project or would like access to the project, just go ahead and send me an email with your contact information along with the package that you are interested in looking at, basically what you do as a company, and we can get you an invitation for the project.
Thank you, Andrew.
And then we have a couple of upcoming projects. We are looking at these coming out in the next couple months. The Hope Clinic is a project here in Houston. It's going to be about a $10 million project. We are anticipating that drawings are going to come out in the first part of February with bids being due in March. This is a lump sum bid project, so we will be competing for this job along with the Humble ISD North Belt Elementary. It's another lump sum bid that's on our calendar. We are anticipating getting drawings on this one in May, with bids likely being due in June. So that project is about a $25 million project. So if you're interested in either of those projects or anything else we have in the pipeline, you can reach out to Joe or myself, and we can add you to the list for these projects or other upcoming jobs.
Hey, Drew, and just a quick clarification. So the first two we talked about, that our Humble High School project and as well as the Texas A&M South Rec, those are both CM at risk. So those are our projects, right, that we have in-house. We're not competing against. And those last two that Drew mentioned we would be competing against. So just a clarification.
Hey, Raylene, I have a question that might help them.
Good.
So if y'all are interested in teaming with Manhattan, but maybe not direct for one of these packages based on the side, but you want to team with one of the other subs that are looking at that project, how do they get the information on who those bidding subs are that they may be able to team with to do a smaller piece of the pie per se to get engaged on these program pieces? Raylene, can they see the bidders list when they go into Building Connected, or do they need to request that information from your team?
Yeah, so in Building Connected, I can check it real quick. You cannot see the bidders list, but if you're interested, if you just reach out to us, we will certainly get you on Building Connected, and that way you can see the documents and all that information, and we'll let you know who those prime trades are that are looking at it, so that you can reach out to them direct.
Okay. We've got some questions. First of all, Gabriella, is the contact info on the next slide? There it is. Okay, so that'll answer a lot of questions. The Alex, I think you can reach out to Alex Santander, use this list to reach out to the people you want to get in touch with. Here's a question. How can we submit for site safety services for these projects? Raylene, do you want to tackle that?
Sure, absolutely. So site safety, I'm not sure if that's like security watch guards or if we're talking about cameras, but either way, we do both of those dependent on the job. So again, if you're interested in one of those, just reach out to us. And we will make sure that you have the opportunity to give us a bid on them.
And I think this is a Melissa question. If a firm is not eligible for an EMR yet, formed in 2019, would this preclude from working with Manhattan?
I'll take that one, Mark.
Okay.
What we do, we use the EMR. It's not a pass-fail. It's a leading indicator, right? So the way that we handle it is if you're under a 0.8, we'll check out your safety program. You'll have a site-specific. We'll vet that out, but generally that EMR is an indicator that that it's a threshold. So if you have not enough man hours to qualify for an EMR based on the question, or if you're over a 0.8, we do what's called an enhanced safety audit. So our regional safety director will get a hold of your operations folks, and we'll have a conversation. Right? We'll talk about how do you have. We kind of get to the root cause of well, if you are a new company and don't have an EMR, then we talk through your processes and go from there. Same as if you are over a 0.8, oftentimes we'll go through loss runs. We'll see what's leading to that. And, most of the time, if awarded a project, we'll partner with you to see, is there a focus on slips, trips, and falls that we can work together if that was the issue before. So in summary, no, that does not preclude you from bidding on work. Please continue to bid the work. Just be open with us and let us know. I'm a new company. I don't have enough man hours, and we'll talk through the process and help you out.
Oh, and you got to thank you, Jason, on our Q&A. Here's a question. Is that the same process for temp and permanent power coming from the energy brokerage side? I really don't understand that question. I'm hoping one of you can do.
The same process as Raylina answered for the site security services. Any of our what we generally call general requirements, which could be cleaning, which could be power supply. So Mark, I think when we establish temporary power on a job site, it's somewhat like your house. We have the ability to pick a power provider, because we have to pay for the temporary usage and actual utility fees. So to answer the question, yes, just reach out to our group. A lot of times that will be determined by our field staff once they mobilize. But having you in our database as a vendor for any of those services, even though there may not be a specific bid package in Building Connected, the more contacts and vendors that we have, the better off we are.
Yeah, and Jason, just to tap onto that just real quick. So we get a lot of requests for that. And what I end up doing is for those GC type items or whatever, I forward those to the project staff, right, from job to job. So very important to reach out so we can capture that for sure.
Is there an opportunity for an insurance agency to work with Manhattan or its subcontractors? We are minority owned, Texas Hub and DBE.
That's a great question. So for Manhattan, we have basically a corporate-wide program that we work with. Definitely reach out to us, and we can forward that to our risk management department in Dallas for some specific opportunities, especially if we do a larger project where we do an OSIP or a CSIP. There are some opportunities there. But on the subcontractor side, and Melissa can speak to this, we are constantly working with our trades on resources, especially on pollution and professional liability and some resources to connect them to brokers and to resources. So by all means on that front, please get us your information. Melissa's oftentimes has referrals, just trying to help people find some resources. So that would be welcome for sure.
Absolutely.
And then our question from the safety security gentleman, not safety security, but safety consultant engineer. Some projects require safety engineer, CSP, or safety competent person, or safety rep.
Yes, absolutely. We do have our in-house safety department, but from time to time we do supplement that with services, such as the gentleman's asking. So, again, that is something that we could utilize. So just forward on the information, and
Okay.
we'll keep it in our
Okay, perfect. So I have a question. Manhattan, in my career at MBDA, has been very good about engaging our clients, especially the construction trade ones. And good about using people you haven't used before. What's a good, for people that are competing for that sort of work, what separates the ones who get the work from the ones that don't? And pardon me if that was a little blunt as a question.
That's a great question. Raylene, you want to handle that one? Start with that one?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. A very good question, Mark. So we consider all subcontractors partners on the project, right? Because those are the ones that are building our project. They're the ones keeping us on schedule and keeping us under budget. So we take the selection of all subcontractors very seriously. And what I can tell you is a differentiator that we notice up front is a timely and complete bid starting out, right? Because that is our first representation that we see of your work. Also, we do a lot of post-bid interviews. So after, we take bids, we'll bring in the low 2 or 3 these days virtually, but still we have those conversations, right? And we want to hear knowledge that you've thought about the job, that you understand the schedule, that you're going to explain to us how, you've thought about manpower and your PM or your superintendent and who's going to be on the job. And the more knowledgeable you are about the job and can show that lets us know that you're ready to do this project. So I would say, from my perspective, and James or Jason could probably provide another one from the ops standpoint, but that is key to me, to being able to say, hey, they can talk about past similar projects. They've got this project in their head. They've got their hands around it already. They're ready to go.
Very good. Yeah. And I can see that my clients that are successful with you would be thorough and prepared. So that's a great answer. Here's a question. I'm a crane company that needs access to get in contact with the right company that is in need of cranes.
So similarly, cranes are generally procured once we have mobilized on site, or when the ops team is engaged, right? Alan Dunham is our operations manager. He would be kind of the keeper of all things cranes and hoisting. But send your contact info to myself, Raylena, the group on this sheet here, and we will get that to Alan. And between Alan and our senior superintendent, they work through and vet, the different options with the different crane and hoisting companies on those projects that we do. It's about 50-50 depending on the building, whether we include hoisting and craning with the trades, with the major trades such as structural steel erection or whatever. But if we've got a tower crane on the job, generally we will manage that directly. Again, same as the others, get that on the general requirement items, get that contact information to us. We'll get that to Alan and his ops team and go from there.
Does Manhattan utilize trucking companies often? We are a minority owned, and one of our divisions is transportations. We have performance record with FEMA, DOD, et cetera, but want to do more work locally to serve our own state and community.
Yeah, so Mark, one of the, and to James's point earlier, right, one of the ways that we do get some diversity participation on some trades where maybe a prime sub can't get it, like earthwork is a great one that we a lot of times see as a sub tier to them trucking. So same thing, if you will reach out and give us your information, because what we like to do is make sure that anybody who's bidding a scope of work that might use trucking has your information, right? So that they can include that in their bid.
Yeah, it's just, typically, Mark, we do not contract trucking services directly. That is almost exclusively through a subcontractor, such as earthwork or demo, et cetera. But we would be more than happy to connect you with the trades that do a lot of our work or propose to do the work.
Here's a question from MBDA client Linda Madokeen. We are in cabinetry and countertops, multifamily, and we have not ventured into the education sector. We have 25 years experience, and we would like to work with someone in your company to have an understanding of your requirements. So who should she get in touch with?
Yes, so Mark, you can reach out to me or Melissa, right? Because the very first step we're going to ask is for a W-9, so that we understand a little bit about your company. But in relation to the question about going from one particular product type to another, right? Interested in educational, we do a lot of educational work. I'm happy to have a conversation, and certainly, Linda, let you pick my brain or whatever on anything we can do to help you and answer any questions.
So she's the real deal, so she'd be a good candidate to make that the jump. And so far, that's my last question.
I have a question, Mark.
Yes,
I have one client actually, not client, an attendee sent me a question, and he says, would the job site offer janitorial and site work cleaning? You guys have that kind of job that people can apply for?
We do as part of our, again, the same group with the general requirements, same with the security, safety, that kind of thing. So we do not only final cleaning services, but periodic clean, and a lot of times that's in our what we call the general trades package that we will put together. So yes, absolutely, we've got those services needed on the project site for periodic site clean. So again, reach out to us and we'll let you know how where the opportunities are.
Okay, so I just want to wrap up a lot of the things that people have said. Is one, make sure that if you want to become a subcontractor, you want to qualify, make sure to be in contact with Melissa, because she's the one that is going to review all the paperwork and so forth. Of course, you're more than welcome to ask questions to Jason, Relina, and Leo, and Andrew, and everybody who's out there, the other two projects. But I just want you to understand that you can even start working with Manhattan if you don't have the proper paperwork. And make sure to have the W-9 and everything ready. I also want to mention that we have more than 70 people attending to this webinar, which is impressive. And there's a lot of people right now looking for work. As you know, 2020 has been hard, but we know 2021 is going to be better. So I want to mention that. And it's always with Manhattan. Everyone wants to like sign up with Manhattan. And that's one of the reasons why you guys are one of our favorites. Also, I want to mention everybody that this presentation is going to be shared with everybody. So you're going to have access to all the email address, the names, and the video. I believe I have more people who are asking questions, so I'm just going to read some of them. Hi, I own a software company, have worked with few construction companies since 2010. Do you subcontract or work directly with a software company for your software needs, which could be for a general application or a project-specific application?
So that's handled out of our project controls division that is actually in our Atlanta office. So that's not done at a local or regional level. Those systems are vetted and kind of implemented at that level. But again, feel free to pass that on to us, and we can move that up the chain. We're constantly vetting new software and new resources and new platforms. So we do that, but that's not done at a regional level. That's done corporately.
Thank you.
If you have a product that is unique to outdoor monument signage, alternate materials, or who can we speak to for possibly getting our materials spec?
That's a really good question, Mark. And we kind of didn't cover that, but on our CM at risk projects, a lot of times we're engaged very early in the process with our clients and our owners. And sometimes we'll ask for budgets, right, from the subcontractor community. So we're involved very early on. And we do have the opportunity, working so closely with the design team, to offer up substitution requests, right, for products. We get those requests all the time. So I would say absolutely, if you have something that you think is going to provide better value, or is going to provide or equal value, right, to something that's in the spec, or something that the designer is showing, please let us know, because we absolutely pass that information along, and we believe that is definitely beneficial to our clients.
I'm with a graphics company, and we specialize in large format graphics, including construction, fencing, banners, signage, etc. We also specialize in ADA signs. Is this something you can utilize? We are a minority-owned business. Who can I reach out to?
Yeah, so I'm not sure on the site fencing and where we procure that. Maybe James or Jason could chat about that piece of it.
We can, when we do that, we can get that locally for sure.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yep. We have our own graphics and our own things that we pass on, but we prefer to use local vendors for that. So
okay.
Absolutely, that's a good resource.
Perfect. Yeah, so just reach out to us on that, just like the other GC items. We talked about general condition type items, and we'll make sure you get the opportunity to give us a price.
Okay. And do you require all subs or professional services provider to pre-qualify you, or just signify interest?
I'm not sure I completely understood that question, Mark. It sounded like it was talking about professional services. Is that what it said? Can you read it one more time?
Yeah, so they want to know if basically if they need to pre-qual before they get, this is how I'm interpreting it. They want to pre-qual before they get notified.
Gotcha. So what we ask subcontractors to do is when we first connect, we ask for the W-9 to get that pre-qualification process started. We want to get it started as early as possible. I mentioned that we do two different delivery types, lump sum bidding, and we do CM at risk. Generally speaking, on our CM at risk jobs, we work really hard to try to get everybody pre-qualified before we bid, right? Because we have the time in which to do so. Other lump sum processes, sometimes we don't have that opportunity, but certainly once we are considering selection and narrowing it down, we're going to ask that you're pre-qualified. So the earlier in the process that you can get that done for us, the better it is.
Yeah, and there is a bit, I mean, it's easier for us to send the same information to all, right? I mean, professional service providers, like if you're doing test and balance or you're doing commissioning or something where you're not actually leaving work in place, we execute a professional services agreement, which is a little different than a subcontractor purchase order. And generally, we don't have to have surety, or if we do SDI or that kind of thing. So it doesn't necessarily, at the end of the day, lead to some of the financial pre-qualification, but we do, just for consistency, send out the same package and ask everyone for that same information, because just because you're doing some commissioning or consulting engineering today, you may be in the queue to do some actual work in place tomorrow, right? Back to the question, we'll still run you through the same front end process, but the end result may be a little different on a professional service firm.
Okay, we are a design build company, and intellectual property is crucial to us with our designs. Does Manhattan have a non-disclosure agreement, or will they sign one with us?
So as a designer, when we do design build, and we team with a design architect, we have a teaming agreement that we do prior to the pursuit when we say we want to meet up and go pursue a project. So we have a short teaming agreement that says we agree to team and we agree to be confidential. And then when we are successful on that project and that firm would actually engage in design, generally we contract using the DBIA typical contracting form. And inside that, the DBIA contract agreement, it does have those terms of use and intellectual property terms and all that kind of thing. Obviously, that could be overridden by the owner if the owner had different terms in our contract. Obviously, we're stipulated to whatever the owner wants us to do. I'm rambling on these questions, but to answer the question, we use the DBIA form for all our design partners in design build, which includes those terms.
Very good. How often do you require commercial grade playgrounds, composite steel structures, shade structures, metal shelters, side amenities, splash pads? We are a manufacturer of these items in Houston and offer turnkey solutions throughout Texas.
We do them a lot.
Especially lately.
Okay.
We do all of those things. And to that point, Mark, we would love for manufacturers to reach out to us too. Again, a lot of times if we get that information early enough, we can have a chat with the design team and get them in the specifications. So.
Got it. That's my last question. Do you have any, Gabrielle?
No, I don't have anything else. I think that's basically it. I see a lot of new people showing up to this Substance Sandwich. I'm always happy. Also, if you would like to have more information about us, feel free to send us an email at mbda@hccs.edu. Manhattan teams, any last words before we end the sessions?
Well, having this many people on for us is it's great. It's and again, we thank everybody for joining us. We're all here. If you don't, just reach out to us. This group, we've got a pretty tight group in this office. We're always communicating. So if you don't hear back from us, just keep trying. We promise we'll get back to you. And again, Gabriella and Mark, can't thank you enough for the support. And hopefully we'll have some sandwiches in 2021. We're ready to see some folks again. So just
there you go. There you go. Okay, thank you, Gabriella.
Thank you, everybody. Yeah, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Jason, Relina, Leo, Andrew, Melissa, all of them who participated in the entire MBDA team. And thank you to everybody. Have a good day. Enjoy your day. It's a wonderful day. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.